Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of VCTV. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. It is June 24th, and guess what we're going to be talking about? That's right, our favorite subject, blockchain. But more importantly, we're going to be talking about a very timely topic around blockchain, and that is its impact on central banking. Now, when we talk about blockchain, normally we talk about blockchain at the infrastructure. We talk about distributed ledgers, we talk about dApps, we talk about DeFi, we talk about all that stuff. Well, today we're also going to lean a little bit into the other side of blockchain and those digital assets and how those are also playing a role in not just central banks, but general governments and general banking as well. We know there's a lot of activity, whether it's from El Salvador, it's from Paraguay that we had announcements from earlier today, whether it's from Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Europe, even in the United States and many other countries around the world that are looking at how blockchain will play an important role in not just the central bank's future digital currencies, but also in its financial infrastructure and upgrading as well. And with that, I'm joined by an outstanding co-host today. And before I introduce Verlin, quick shout out to LATOKEN for making today's episode possible. Big thank you to Hasmik and Maria for making that. So make sure to check us out on latoken.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Verlin, welcome. A little intro, a little background for everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm actually from the Ruby family office. We are a family office that has well over $3.7 billion asset under management, and we've been traditionally involved in real estate projects and the traditional projects in real estate, oil and gas, and agriculture. But now we've ventured out for a few years now into the blockchain space, and we're pretty excited to be in the sector. We are in the DeFi space as well, so it's been pretty exciting for us getting involved in allocating some fundings on different projects into the space. But me personally, I live in California. I'm currently right now doing business here with some of the family offices and private investors and sovereign wealth funds here in Dubai. We're pretty busy here getting some deals done with our partners and family offices as well, and basically that's where the space is going. I know that the market right now is currently it's not a good time, and the cryptocurrency market is taking a shot. But we still believe that the future of blockchain is pretty bright, and we're long term on this sector.
Absolutely. And same here. I think that this is actually a very exciting time for the industry, right? We know that the digital asset markets are all over the place in a quick summary. But nonetheless, if we look at how things are being built, there's a ton of activity going on. And Verlin, pre-show, you and I were talking a little bit about that. Tell us what you're seeing happening just in the broader blockchain space. You're in Dubai, where for those who are not aware, and Verlin can share more if he'd like, but the Dubai has put a lot of effort. The government of Dubai has put a lot of effort into integrating blockchain into and throughout the entire city, from the infrastructure all the way through to government services and city services into citizens' lives as well. We're not talking just digital currency. We're looking at core infrastructure of blockchain as a whole. So, Verlin, since you are traveling and you have these various places you're visiting and conversations, tell us what you're seeing just generally happening in blockchain, and then I want to come back to Ruby Capital here in a moment.
Sure. So what we've been seeing actually here in the UAE, especially Dubai, is they have been very accommodating when it comes to the blockchain community. They have pretty much worked with a lot of the projects here, even being able to allocate a department for what they call a free zone, where you're able to establish your company here, blockchain or cryptocurrency. So it's been a really well received community from the UAE in Dubai, and most of the region here as well. And even if we've seen some other areas or markets that has been not very receptive to the blockchain's community, Dubai has been at the forefront of this one, this community. So we're really happy at this space, and there's a lot of excitement going forward with what's about to happen this year with the Dubai Expo 2020. So we're doing a little bit of promotion there. They're having major events this coming September and October in support of not just the blockchain community as it relates to the DeFi sector, but also how this one will transition or creating the bridge for the government sector and the central banking institution, affecting pretty much everybody. So yeah, we've been really blessed that we are being accepted this part of the world.
Yeah, and that the expo for those again who may not be aware is a huge expo. It was something that the government and local region has put a lot of effort into talking about the future of technology and innovation as well. Verlin and I were talking about that pre-show, so thank you, Verlin, for bringing that up. Definitely something to monitor, especially as events are coming back into play, as we all know. But also, this could act as the new, CES, if you will, big consumer or big technology showcase, and show us kind of what the future is and looks like for technologies like blockchain and DeFi and others focus. And Verlin, coming back to the Ruby family office for just a moment. So today, Andreessen Horowitz announced Fund 3, $2.2 billion, the biggest sole focused fund in this space for them, and I think in general. So we're now starting to see these $1 billion funds or $100 million funds entering. So more money into the industry. For you as a family office, what drove you into the industry? And then maybe talk about a few of those investments, if you're able to, or areas that you're looking to invest within the blockchain space.
Sure. So as a family office, we've been traditionally involved in the traditional investment sectors, but we see blockchain as the future, as not just for not just for the family office, but in a global sense. And we want to be a part of that movement, just because we also, as a family office, we also have a foundation play. We want to be able to give back. The tone of family offices is more like what can we provide for the next generation? Impact investments, social impact. It's not about just crunching the numbers and let's make sure our shareholders are making a killing in the market, and then not being inconsiderate of what kind of social impact it's bringing. So the family office setting to us, it's really more of a let's take care of the community. Let's take care of what we can do for the next generation. What kind of legacy can we bring forth into the future? So to us, blockchain has that capacity and ability to kind of put everybody together, to be a force for good. So that's where we're about. So we're supporting that. We're allocating funding for different projects. Of course, we want to be careful with what kind of projects we're allocating funding to. So we have a very good research team to make sure that we are in good places there. And then we also, aside from the foundation play, we also are in the liquidity pool space. So as a family office, we what we found out is there's so many family offices right now that has hard assets. They have their money on real estate, their money on oil and gas, their gold, their diamonds, and other hard assets, art pieces. So as a family office ourselves, we have hard assets and also liquid assets. But how can you truly be liquid? This is where the blockchain can really transition you from being not just being fiat liquid, but also cryptocurrency liquid, which is phenomenal for us. It's like you can't be more liquid than in the crypto space. So.
That's very, very true. And
Mhm,
speaking of the crypto and digital asset space,
mhm,
let's transition to talk about this impact,
mhm,
good, bad, or ugly, that we're seeing around how blockchain is playing a role in central banking and traditional finance. Right? We had El Salvador president and its entire government body that did approve to see Bitcoin as a legal tender. And then we saw how the IMF came back and said, "Whoa, let maybe
right.
not. Yeah, pause, pump the brakes." But they are still moving forward with bringing in mining into the company or country and others. And then we're seeing kind of a different story in China,
Mhm,
where China is looking at their digital yuan, but at the
mhm,
same time are changing how blockchain is related in the country. However, they do have a huge policy for the next 5 years with about 22 different initiatives. Then you look at
mhm,
Singapore, who's doing something completely different with JP Morgan, Tessemac, the government, MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, I believe,
yeah.
who is putting in, Project Ubin, that's been a digital currency and blockchain project for over, I think, almost 6 years now. They're working on another one. JP
Mhm,
Morgan has now come into Southeast Asia with Thailand and now with India joining their Onyx program, bringing
mhm,
blockchain into central banks, but not necessarily on a digital currency side. So not finishing the CBD of the or the CB of the CBDC side. Uh,
yes.
I mean, this is incredible. You're in Dubai seeing this. We know that there's the digital euro, the digital dollar. There's 5+ different country companies that are going after
Mhm,
this. We know there's a ton of work in Africa. That all being said,
mhm,
what are you seeing? I mean, as a family
mhm,
office, being in Dubai, having all these different views and conversations,
mhm,
is this having a real impact, or is there
mhm,
something else happening? What's kind of your view on all of this
mhm.
interesting technology being integrated into the central banking system?
Right, but that's a great topic to really discuss because it's been always a struggle from the very beginning when, ever since Bitcoin really caught the attention of the media. It's always been a lot of pulling back, or do we want to do this? Do we want to get involved? So the governing bodies, of course, they're still unsure. We do have a lot of the private investors and the private institutions that are bringing in billions of dollars into the sector, but we kind of understand why the government doesn't want to be fully committed, and some governments have embraced the community, the blockchain technology. But we also do understand why some government bodies will not be fully committed to this because of the liabilities, and of course the risk that's involved in the crypto market. So to us, who's been in the cryptocurrency for a while, we know that this is the same thing that's gonna play out for the longest time. It's going to be yes, it's going to be no the next day, it's going to be yes the next day again. But we know that it's eventually, um, look at what's happening. We're over how many years now, and a lot of people have said it's going to go away, it's not going to
Mhm.
last. Last year alone we were what, at $800 billion market cap, and then this year we all of a sudden hit more than 2.5 trillion
Mhm.
on the market cap. We're down a little bit now, but we're still, if you look at the bigger picture, we've exceeded all expectations. Like,
Mhm.
we are way above water, to be honest.
Mhm. Well, and seeing how blockchain, continues to come up in the conversation is definitely one
Mhm,
point, and how it's being actually implemented into a variety of applications, and or again, these not just policies but into these infrastructures. I mean, we have a
mhm,
lot of legacy infrastructures from a technology side on a global scale.
mhm,
Something we've talked about many times over here on VCTV. I've spoken about as well. I'm sure you've seen and had conversations. It's due for a change or an upgrade, and blockchain plays a very important role. Now,
mhm,
one question I think that's come up a lot around this is, as blockchain is a ledger. It does or represents a ledger, right? It also is immutable, so can't necessarily be changed. Everything you do is put on it, private or public blockchains we're talking about. Either way, it's there.
Mhm.
How does that change society, or how do you think that may impact society going forward as more people start to think about that or learn about that? I'm seeing
Mhm.
a lot of conversations in the news around this right now. We've talked about it here. I mean, everything you do from a central bank standpoint, from the government side, it makes sense. As an individual or from a business, everything you do is now, there's a record of it and it's transparent. Now, from the
Mhm.
enterprise side, this could open up some huge opportunities with supply chain and logistics, being able to share, invoices or share relevant data with the right parties. It gives
Mhm.
kind of that checks and balances, those gates.
Mhm.
But on the
Yeah.
consumer side, what does that do for us? What's that impact?
No, I think it's really a double-edged sword, right? And to be honest, to us it works really great that you have a ledger technology that does record every transaction, and then it kind of gives very high accountability. And it should that's the whole purpose, is to, it should remove bad characters out of the play. So, as on the consumer side, this should bring confidence to the market, not just for institutions, or not just for the commercial side of this one. On the consumer side, it's a positive effect that you're able to really have a very good record of the things that you've done. Takes out the bad character, or because of the immutability of the technology. It helps. So far we see it as a good uh, consideration, but it really depends on the uh, each consumer. Some consumer doesn't like that. They don't want to be on the record, and they want to keep everything anonymous. There's still some sort of way to do that, but I think eventually accountability and having it on the ledger, it helps it's gonna work out for everybody, the way we see it.
Yeah. So, what's your prediction as we look forward here in the next couple of
Mhm.
years? And normally, I would say 5 years, but we know how fast this industry changes.
And,
What
yeah.
seems like on a weekly basis at this
Mhm.
point. I would say maybe looking ahead 1 to 2 years. Where do you
Mhm.
see blockchain taking us, whether it be on the side of central banks, smart
Mhm.
cities, or some of these other areas that you focus on as a family office? Where do you
Mhm.
see the technology taking us?
So, in relation to, let's say, the central banking topic, so we really see the technology bringing the financial products that you have on a central level into the community, the decentralized financial sector, which is growing. For some uh, the format that we're doing is basically it's mimicking the centralized financial institution, so it can be democratized to have everybody have the same playing field. So we see it as an advantage to the consumers, to everybody who wants to get into the sector, because now these financial products, or these opportunities, is not just reserved for the small group. It can now be opened up to the people that wants to participate into the sector, which is growing daily. So yeah, you're right. It's not going to be 5 years. This thing can. We're looking at a very short term. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Berlin, I want to come to some closing thoughts here, but uh, as I do, tell us a little bit of maybe where Ruby and yourself are both looking at huge
Mhm.
opportunities within the blockchain space that maybe are underserved or are ripe for
Mhm.
disruption, and then we'll transition into closing thoughts. So, areas of
Mhm.
opportunities that you and the family office are seeing.
So, and the level of the family offices, when it comes to the liquidity of family offices, we are now given a chance to have a way to be able to, through the tokenization and the DeFi sector, we don't have to be worried about having hard asset and being able to transition into having a liquidity to opportunities for us to do what we need to do, all the good work that we need to do, and now we can use the technology for us to be able to have that liquidity, and then basically support the community and do the good work that we're doing. So impacting the blockchain technology impacting what we do. For example, I was sharing with you earlier. We have a foundation. Now we want to be. I kind of wanted to uh, discuss this a little bit. We want to be the very first foundation that will be on the blockchain, and it will have 100% allocation to the mission. I know some foundations have they would have to have the management to basically collect some funds, and some of the allocations goes to the mission, a smaller portion. So this will actually put us in a very highly credible environment to wherein the public can see the funds and be able to check where the funds are going, and you can only do that through blockchain, and that puts you with an ability to really be accountable to not just the foundation, but the community that you serve through the technology, and that impacts the small people, basically. The ones that you want to serve, and in a way that's from higher level up to this level down. It affects us entirely as a community with this new technology. So all good stuff.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree
Mhm,
more. Excited as well. And Verlin, any closing thoughts you'd like the audience to know? And
mhm.
and then of course, where can everyone find you along with the family office to
Mhm.
connect further after today's conversation?
So closing this one is we do have we consider blockchain as a disruption, but it doesn't have to be a separation element. It has to be a bridge. That's how we see it. The two has to be bridged together, from central institution, banking institution to the decentralized blockchain community. There's a bridge that we're trying to build, and this is how we transition. People who would want to stay in the central institution, or people who would want to transition. We want to create this bridge, and as a family office, we understand the mindset of the traditional central institutions, and we also understand the mindset of the blockchain community. So we want to be the bridge, and hopefully we're doing a good job. And you guys can find us on our site, rubyfamilyoffice.com, and my you can Google search me, Verlin. My name is right there, and my Instagram handle is Verlin, at verlin.us. And then, yeah.
Wonderful, Verlin. Thank you so very much.
Mhm.
Excited to have this conversation with you, and we can see the sun starting to set in the background, and the
Oh,
Burj
yeah.
Khalifa starting to
It's
light up.
starting to light
So
up.
as we close out, everyone gets a nice little extra show. But really a
Mhm.
pleasure, and looking forward to having you back to talk a little bit more about what yourself and the office is seeing, and how
Mhm.
things develop in Dubai on this recent trip. And to our
Mhm.
audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, make sure you click subscribe, like, and share today's episode of VCTV. And also make sure to check out LATOKEN.com to hear from today's speakers and all speakers of the VCTV family. With that, Verlin and I would both love to hear from you. So please do reach out. And when you do connect with us on respected social media, please do add context, where you heard us, where you met us, and what you would like to continue the conversation about, so we can have it as effective as possible. But we'd love to hear everything blockchain and much more. With that, I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Verlin, it was an absolute pleasure. Audience, thank you very much. Everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you back here for more VCTV. And a big thank you to Maria and Hasmik, along with LATOKEN, for making today's episode possible. Take care, everybody.